Good evening. I'm Walt Rulffes, Superintendent of Clark County School District. I'd like to start by thanking Chancellor Rogers, not only for making this venue available to again comment on the state of education, but also for his relentless insistence that Nevada can and must do better when it comes to educating our students. Why do we continue to gut the systems that are supposed to be preparing a foundation for Nevada's future? So what kind of foundation are we establishing? Nevada's per pupil funding has been steadily falling behind the rest of the nation. Just a few legislative sessions ago, we were funded at 25% less than the national average. We are now funded approximately 33% below the national average, placing us among the states that least support education. I offer those statistics not to suggest that we should immediately try to reach even the average level of support, but to illustrate the point that when a system is already funded at the bottom of the barrel, additional massive cuts seriously compromise the results. While the rest of the world falls apart, moms and dads losing jobs, families unable to sustain life as they know it, the one thing that remains constant in the life of a child is school. Schools become the safe harbor, the safety net, the place where a child's needs are met. As everything else falls apart, the one thing our most precious resource, our children, can count on is that when they go to school, they will be met by a nurturing teacher who still has something to give, whether it be knowledge, breakfast, self-confidence, or hope. When we're in crisis, we need to do more to ensure our children are not neglected. In view of this year's cuts of $133 million, and the cuts that we anticipate in each of the next 2 years, approximately $300 million more, we cannot expect that even the current level of progress to continue. We know that other school districts across the nation must also make do with less, but the sacrifices don't compare when other districts are cutting things we never had to begin with. For most of the past year, we have avoided filling vacancies except in positions of critical need and those related directly to instruction. That has reduced the overall size of our workforce. We are now preparing for layoffs on a significant scale and anticipate that year 2010 may be even worse. Our plea for adequate and stable funding has nothing to do with increasing salaries and benefits. We must have the resources to maintain a workforce large enough for the job at hand. Your educators address some of the largest class sizes in the country's public schools. Our populations of students in poverty and non-English speaking students continues to grow. Jamming more needy students into already crowded and underfunded classrooms only lays the foundation for failure. Failure of children, failure of educators, and failure of a community. My real concern is not about sustaining the school district as an organization. My concern is about the education of students. In this day and age, students who lack an adequate education are sentenced to a life at the bottom of the economic and social ladders. They will be unable to compete for good jobs here or anywhere else, and are more likely to burden a community than to lift it up. The same holds true for higher education. As the pool of qualified high school graduates dries up, so does the quality of our colleges. And as K-12 and higher education wither, the destiny of our community and state becomes apparent. When it comes to education, Nevada's on the wrong track. Degrading the quality of our public schools and colleges only guarantees a future with less promise than the present. Education is the solution, not the problem. Knowledge is liberating. Ignorance is debilitating. Whether or not you have children or grandchildren in school, a poor system of education is cause for concern. Aristotle recognized it when he wrote, "All who have meditated on the art of governing mankind have been convinced that the fate of empires depends on the education of youth." Let us not ignore that age-old wisdom. Thank you.